It was 3:17 a.m. when Dr. Amanda Chen's phone buzzed in her Manhattan apartment, jolting her from deep sleep. The voice on the other end was breathless, desperate. "Doctor, we have an emergency. A cat just fell 9 floors from a building on 42nd Street. She's still breathing, but barely. You need to get here now." Amanda had been a veterinary surgeon for 12 years, handling everything from routine checkups to life-threatening emergencies, but nothing had prepared her for what she was about to witness. As she rushed through the empty streets of New York City, her mind raced with the grim reality. No animal survives a 9-story fall. She was driving to what she assumed would be a mercy killing, not a miracle. The emergency clinic was buzzing with activity when she arrived. Luna, a beautiful Russian blue cat with piercing green eyes, lay motionless on the examination table. Her breathing was shallow and labored, blood trickling from her mouth. The X-rays told a horrifying story: shattered ribs, punctured lung, fractured pelvis, broken jaw, and internal bleeding that should have killed her instantly. "How is she still alive?" whispered Sarah, the night technician, staring at the images in disbelief. Dr. Chen had seen thousands of X-rays in her career, but never anything like this. Every major bone system was damaged, yet somehow, inexplicably, Luna's heart was still beating. Her eyes, though clouded with pain, showed an almost supernatural determination to live. The story of how Luna ended up in this condition was heartbreaking in itself. She belonged to Mrs. Elena Rodriguez, an 78-year-old widow living alone in apartment 9B of a downtown high-rise. Elena had been battling early-stage Alzheimer's disease for 2 years, and Luna was more than just a pet. She was Elena's lifeline to reality, her constant companion who slept curled against her chest every night. On that fateful Tuesday evening, Elena had forgotten to close the balcony door after watering her plants. Luna, always curious and playful, had spotted a pigeon perched on the railing. In a moment of feline instinct, she had pounced, but the pigeon flew away just as Luna's paws touched the narrow railing. Witnesses later described hearing a terrifying yowl as the 3-year-old cat plummeted 90 feet toward the concrete sidewalk below. What happened next defied every law of physics and veterinary medicine. Dr. Chen knew. The surgery took 6 agonizing hours. Luna's heart stopped twice on the operating table. But each time, after a few moments of frantic resuscitation, it started beating again with even more strength than before. Dr. Chen repaired the punctured lung, set the fractured bones, and stopped the internal bleeding, but she held little hope. "In 20 years of practice," she told her assistant, "I've never seen an animal this badly injured survive the night. We're basically providing comfort care until the inevitable happens." But Luna had other plans. On day 3, something extraordinary occurred. When Elena's daughter called the clinic and put her mother on speakerphone, Luna's eyes opened wide for the first time since the accident. The moment she heard Elena's voice saying, "Luna, mi amor, where are you?" The injured cat began to purr, a deep, resonant sound that seemed to vibrate through her entire broken body. By day 5, Luna was attempting to stand, something that should have been medically impossible given her pelvic fractures. Dr. Chen documented everything meticulously, knowing she was witnessing something unprecedented. Luna's healing rate was 3 times faster than any cat she'd ever treated. The fractures were knitting together with remarkable speed. Her lung function had completely normalized, and her appetite had returned with a vengeance. But it was Luna's behavior that truly puzzled everyone at the clinic. Instead of the typical withdrawn, fearful demeanor of severely injured animals, Luna displayed an almost protective awareness of her surroundings. She would lift her head whenever another injured animal was brought into the clinic, her ears perked and alert, as if she was assessing their condition. The first hint of Luna's extraordinary new ability came during her 2nd week of recovery. A golden retriever puppy named Max had been hit by a car and brought in with severe trauma to his hind legs. The puppy was whimpering in pain, unresponsive to standard pain medications, when something remarkable happened. Luna, still wearing her protective cone and walking with a pronounced limp, somehow managed to position herself next to Max's cage. She began purring with an intensity Dr. Chen had never heard before, a low, rhythmic vibration that seemed to resonate through the metal bars of the cage. Within hours, Max's vital signs stabilized, his whimpering stopped, and he fell into the first peaceful sleep he'd had since his accident. When Dr. Chen checked on Max the next morning, she was stunned to find that his healing had accelerated dramatically overnight. Intrigued but skeptical, Dr. Chen decided to conduct an informal experiment. Over the next week, she carefully observed Luna's interactions with other patients. The pattern was undeniable and scientifically fascinating. Every animal that Luna spent time near showed measurably improved recovery rates. A barn owl with a broken wing healed in half the expected time. A rabbit with severe digestive issues regained full health 3 days ahead of schedule. Most remarkably, an elderly Persian cat named Duchess, who had been refusing food and medicine after major surgery, suddenly became cooperative and started eating again after just one afternoon in Luna's presence. Dr. Chen began measuring the frequency of Luna's purr and discovered something astounding. It consistently vibrated at 25-27 Hz, a frequency range that scientific research had proven promotes bone growth, reduces pain, and accelerates healing in mammalian tissue. After a month of recovery that had amazed every veterinarian who witnessed it, Luna was finally ready to return home to Mrs. Rodriguez. The reunion was nothing short of magical. Elena, who had been increasingly confused and agitated during Luna's absence, seemed to instantly regain clarity the moment her beloved cat walked through the apartment door. Luna approached her elderly owner with deliberate care, gently rubbing against her legs before settling into Elena's lap with a contented purr. Elena's daughter Maria was shocked by the immediate change in her mother's demeanor. "She's been asking about Luna every day for weeks," Maria explained to Dr. Chen. "But she couldn't remember conversations we'd had 5 minutes earlier." The moment Luna came home, it was like a fog lifted from her mind. Over the following days, Maria began noticing even more extraordinary behavior from Luna. The cat seemed to anticipate Elena's needs with uncanny accuracy, guiding her to the bathroom when she appeared confused, leading her away from the stove when she forgot it was on, and positioning herself between Elena and the open balcony door, as if she understood the danger it represented. Dr. Chen, fascinated by Luna's apparent enhancement of both physical healing and cognitive function, reached out to Dr. James Wright, a neurologist at Mount Sinai Hospital who specialized in Alzheimer's research. Together, they began documenting Luna's behaviors and their effects on Elena's condition. What they discovered was groundbreaking. Luna appeared to be detecting the early onset of Elena's confusion episodes, sometimes hours before they became apparent to human observers. When Elena was having a bad day cognitively, Luna would become more attentive, staying closer to her and providing gentle physical guidance. On days when Elena's memory was clearer, Luna would be more relaxed and playful. Dr. Wright was amazed by the data they collected. "It's as if Luna has developed an enhanced sensitivity to the chemical and behavioral changes that precede cognitive episodes," he explained. "This could revolutionize how we approach early intervention in dementia care." Word of Luna's remarkable abilities began spreading through the medical community. Dr. Chen received calls from hospitals, research institutions, and other veterinarians who had heard about the miracle cat. Luna's story was featured in veterinary journals and medical publications, but she remained devoted to her primary job, caring for Elena. The cat had learned to perform specific tasks that helped Elena maintain her independence. She would gently paw at Elena's medication container at the appropriate times each day. When Elena became disoriented in her own apartment, Luna would lead her to familiar locations like her favorite chair or the bathroom. Most importantly, Luna had somehow learned to operate an emergency alert system that Maria had installed, pressing a large red button with her paw whenever Elena fell or appeared to be in distress. The breakthrough moment that would change everything came 6 months after Luna's accident. Dr. Chen had developed a training protocol based on Luna's natural behaviors, hoping to teach other cats similar detection and response skills. The first candidate was a young orange tabby named Oliver, who had also survived a serious accident and shown enhanced sensitivity to human emotions during his recovery. The program, dubbed the Luna Protocol, began with basic observation training. Cats were taught to recognize signs of human distress and respond with specific behaviors, purring at healing frequencies, maintaining close physical contact, and alerting human caregivers when necessary. The results exceeded everyone's expectations. Within 3 months, 5 cats had successfully completed the training, and preliminary tests showed they could detect medical emergencies with 85% accuracy. Luna herself had become something of a celebrity in the medical world, but her greatest triumph was yet to come. On a cold December morning, Elena was preparing breakfast when she suddenly felt dizzy and disoriented. Luna immediately sprang into action, pressing the emergency button repeatedly while positioning herself between Elena and the kitchen counter to prevent her from falling. When Maria arrived at the apartment 20 minutes later, she found Elena sitting safely on the couch with Luna curled protectively in her lap. "I felt strange," Elena explained, "but Luna seemed to know something was wrong before I did." The paramedics who responded to the alert confirmed that Elena had experienced a minor stroke. Without early intervention, the EMT explained, this could have been catastrophic. That cat probably saved her life. The incident prompted Dr. Chen and Dr. Wright to expand their research dramatically. They partnered with 3 major hospitals to establish the first official medical detection cat program in the United States. Luna became the program's flagship success story, working 3 days a week at Mount Sinai Hospital's neurological unit. Her job was to visit patients and observe their behavior, alerting medical staff to potential changes in condition that might indicate complications or improvements. The results were remarkable. Luna's intervention led to the early detection of seizures in epileptic patients, identified infection onset in post-surgical cases before lab tests could confirm it, and even showed preliminary success in detecting certain types of cancer through scent recognition. Her success rate for predicting medical events climbed to an astounding 94%, making her more accurate than many diagnostic tests. The scientific community took notice. Research papers were published detailing the neurological and physiological mechanisms behind Luna's abilities. It was discovered that her traumatic fall and miraculous recovery had somehow heightened her natural feline senses to an extraordinary degree. Cats naturally possess the ability to detect subtle changes in human pheromones, body temperature, and behavior patterns, but Luna's trauma seemed to have amplified these capabilities far beyond normal feline ranges. Dr. Wright's team identified specific neural pathways in Luna's brain that showed unusual activity patterns, suggesting that her accident had triggered adaptive changes that enhanced her sensory processing abilities. This research opened new avenues for understanding how trauma can sometimes lead to unexpected neurological enhancements rather than just damage. 2 years after her 9-story fall, Luna had become the cornerstone of a revolutionary medical program that had expanded to 12 hospitals across the United States. The Luna Protocol had successfully trained 23 cats, each showing remarkable abilities to detect and respond to human medical crises. Elena's condition had remained stable for 18 months, the longest period of cognitive stability she had experienced since her Alzheimer's diagnosis. Maria attributed this directly to Luna's constant monitoring and intervention. "My mother has good days and bad days," Maria explained to a documentary crew filming Luna's story. "But the bad days aren't as bad anymore, and Luna makes sure they don't become dangerous days." The program's impact extended far beyond individual success stories. Insurance companies began recognizing medical detection animals as legitimate healthcare tools, providing coverage for training and certification programs. Nursing homes and assisted living facilities started requesting trained cats for their dementia care units. Veterinary schools began incorporating animal-assisted medical detection into their curricula. Luna had inadvertently launched a new field of medicine that bridged veterinary science, human healthcare, and neurology in unprecedented ways. Her story inspired legislation in several states, recognizing the rights of medical detection animals to access public spaces in medical facilities alongside traditional service dogs. On a quiet Sunday afternoon, exactly 2 years after her accident, Luna lay peacefully in Elena's lap as they sat on the same balcony from which she had fallen. The balcony now featured protective netting and a secure gate, but more importantly, it had become a symbol of survival and transformation rather than danger. Elena's fingers gently stroked Luna's soft fur as the cat purred contentedly. That same healing frequency that had amazed doctors and changed lives. "Mi amor," Elena whispered. "You fell from heaven to save us all." Luna opened one green eye, looked up at her beloved human with what could only be described as profound love and understanding, then returned to her peaceful rest. The sound of her purr carried on the afternoon breeze, a quiet reminder that sometimes our greatest disasters become our most extraordinary gifts. Dr. Chen often reflected on that desperate 3 a.m. phone call that had started this incredible journey. She had rushed to the clinic expecting to ease a suffering animal's final moments, but instead had witnessed the beginning of a medical revolution. Luna's 9-story fall had nearly ended her life, but it had ultimately given her a purpose that saved hundreds of others. In the world of veterinary medicine, Luna's case remained unique, a perfect storm of trauma, recovery, and enhancement that had unlocked abilities science was only beginning to understand. Her legacy lived on not just in the lives she had directly touched, but in the new field of animal-assisted medical detection that continued to evolve and expand, offering hope to patients and families around the world who faced their own impossible odds. Today, Luna continues her work as both Elena's devoted companion and a pioneering medical detection cat, proving every day that miracles aren't just possible, sometimes they purr.